Right, Shalom. All praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors to my apostles, a great millstone, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. Let's get it. This is Zechariah, chapter 2, and verse 3. It says, "And behold, the angel that talked with me went forth, and another angel went out to meet him, and said unto him, Run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited as towns without walls, for the multitude of men and cattle therein." Come, back then in ancient times, walls were built around the cities. But in the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be on planet Earth, Jerusalem, which is Israel, because Israel is a people before it's a place. The nation of Israel is going to be endless, right? YAHAWASHI, he's going to multiply his people, okay? This is Genesis chapter 26, verse 4. It says, "And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven. I will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed." Come. When you go into the word multiply, it means to increase, grow, spread, accumulate, all right? So in the kingdom of heaven, the nation of Israel are going to be multiplied, all right? The nation of Israel is going to produce, all right? And going to the word produce, it means to create, right? The nation of Israel is going to be fruitful and multiply in the kingdom of heaven, meaning, a lot of babies are going to be made, all right? When it means be fruitful and multiply, that basically means to multiply, add, produce, all right? And that's going to begin with a man and a woman, because when a man and woman is fruitful, they have children, The more children, the more fruitful they are. So that's how it's going to be in the kingdom of heaven, all right? In the kingdom, Israel is going to be overpopulated on planet Earth. So we're going to have to dwell in other places. This is John 14:2. It's one of my favorite chapters. But it says, "In my Father's house are many mansions." Come, and this is Yahawashi speaking. He said, in his Father's house are many mansions. And who's the Father? The Most High, Yahweh, right? In his house. It's talking about outer space, It says, "In my Father's house are many mansions." And those many mansions represents galaxies and planets, all right? It says, "If it were not so, I would have told you, I'll go prepare a place for you." So Yahawashi is preparing the kingdom, all right? Because there's going to be a lot of baby making in the kingdom, all right? A lot of creation, all right? The nation of Israel is going to increase, right? It's going to accumulate. It's going to spread, right? And we're going to have to go to other planets to dwell in, right? We're going to rule the kingdom of heaven in the universe, right? Brothers going to have their families and all throughout outer space and different galaxies and planets, right? Because we're going to be very fruitful, right? This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 21. It says, "Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified." And thy people is talking about Israel, right? And that land is talking about the land of Israel, right? We're going to be inhabited in Israel forever. It's going to be everlasting, okay? And we're the branch that Yahweh was planting, right? And he's going to plant us back in the land of Israel. And it says, verse 22, "A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. Our Lord YAHAWASHI will hasten it in his time." Come on. It says, "A little one shall become 1,000." And that little one represents one man, right? When it says that little one shall become 1,000, basically that's saying that one man is going to have many children, all right? And then his children is going to have children, all right? And it's going to be their children are going to have children, and so on, all right? And it says, "In the strong one, a slacker, and a small one, a strong nation." Come on. So one man is going to build a nation, right? We're going to the word nation. That means a large body of people, population, right? So one man is going to build a nation, a large population of people, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 17. It says, "For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord YAHAWASHI." Yeah, so YAHAWASHI is going to restore his people, which is Israel, right? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? He's going to heal us from our wounds, right? Which is affliction, the afflictions we go through, For example, right? Us being in captivity, being oppressed by Esau, Edom, poverty, all these ailments and diseases, right? YAHAWASHI, he's going to heal us from that, okay? It says, "Because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after." Come. And they that call us outcasts is talking about these heathens, right? Because these heathen nations, Esau, Edom, these Hamites, these Ishmaelites, these Edomites, these Moabites, Ammonites, they look at us as outcasts, as shit, like we ain't shit. They reject us, right? They don't look at us as the children of Israel. They look at us as blacks, niggas, spics, these bywords and proverbs, right? They don't look at us as the children of Israel, right? the children of the Most High. And it says, thus saith the Lord YAHAWASHI, behold, I will bring again the captivities of Jacob's tents. Come on, and we're going to the word real quick. The Hebrew word for bring again, it says sha'ub. It says to return, turn back, to turn back, return, to turn back, to return, come or go back. Jump down, it's basically saying the same thing. Right, it says to bring back, to restore, to refresh, to repair. Right, that's the point, you know. So YAHAWASHI, he's going to refresh, all right? He's going to restore the nation of Israel, right? I'm going to read it again, verse 18. Thus saith the Lord YAHAWASHI, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. So the land of Israel is going to be built back up and made perfect by these heathen nations. But first, it's going to be destroyed in World War III when Yahawashi return. But when he come and deliver his people, you know, we're going to go back home and we're going to take these heathens with us, and they're going to build our kingdom the same way we built their kingdom. Okay? And it says, in the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And it says, and out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of them that make merry, and I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. Okay, so like I was saying, you know, earlier, YAHAWASHI, he's going to multiply his people, all right? You know, we're not going to be a small nation of people. You know, we're going to be as the sand of the sea, like the scripture says. And that's, you know, you go on the beach, you see sand, you know, it's a lot of sand, you know. Only the Most High know how much sand is on the beach, you know. So, you know, the nation of Israel is going to be a large proportion of people, all right? We're going to be the largest nation of all nations, all right? Because we're going to be fruitful and multiply, all right? And it says, and I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Come on, so YAHAWASHI is going to glorify the nation of Israel, right? We're not going to be a small nation. And it says, their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them. Come. So YAHAWASHI is going to set up and build Israel, you know, and we're going to be a strong nation, right? And he's going to punish our oppressors, starting with Esau, Edom, right? And he's going to do that through us, right? Real quick, back that up. This is Jeremiah 51, verse 20. It says, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. Okay? So YAHAWASHI, he's going to make the elect of Israel his battle axe and weapons of war. Right? And that goes into spiritual power. Right? He's going to put the spiritual power on us to break these these nations and these kingdoms into pieces, right? He's going to put the power on us to destroy these kingdoms, all right? On all those that oppressed us. This Revelation 21, I'm starting from the top. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Gone. And that new heaven and new earth, it goes into the kingdom of heaven, right? It says for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. Gone. And that's not talking about the earth as an entire, because the earth abideth forever, as the scripture says. That's talking about, you know, the heavens, the rulership that we're in right now, which is Esau, Edom kingdom, right? You know, it's about to pass away, right? As the scripture says, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed, right? And one of the words, the Greek word, if I'm not mistaken, for the word world, you know, because there's different meanings of the word world. And the Greek word for world is aion, which means age. So this age is about to pass away, okay? This rulership we're in right now is about to pass away. And the beginning of Jacob world is about to come. And it's going to be an everlasting rulership. And it says, now John saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, Jerusalem coming down from YAHAWAH out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Come on. And that's talking about the elect of Israel coming down from YAHAWAH out of the heaven. You know, the elect is going to be coming down out of them chariots, right? And we're going to be brand new. You know, we're going to have new bodies. You know, we're going to have extraterrestrial, angelic bodies, okay? And it says prepared as a bride adorned for a husband. Come on. And that bride is talking about Israel, all right? Because, real quick, Jeremiah 6:2, it says, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. So the nation of Israel is likened unto a woman, all right? So we're the bride, and who's the bridegroom? The husband. The husband is YAHAWASHI, okay? But Lord willing, this was edifying. With that being said, Shalom. Kwame Shala, Abba, Abba.